Where we had stopped yesterday, that Miss Noor, our transport system is closed because blood remains inside. Anyone? Blood remains inside. Miss, remains inside blood vessels, right? And double means I'm counting on Mariam Meher. Blood passes through heart twice in one circuit, right? And Miss Noor, what is transport system? What should transport system have? It should have three things, right? Can you recall? And pumping organ. And Noor beta, why are the walls of atria less thicker than the walls of ventricle? Atria will have to send blood down towards gravity, and ventricles will have to send it up against the gravity. And also atria will have to send it close, and ventricles will have to send it a little away. Got it? And which ventricle has thicker walls? Left ventricle. Because left ventricle will have to send blood to whole body under high pressure. And right will have to send blood to lungs, which are quite closer. How many places are semilunar valves in the heart? How many places are semilunar valves? 4 places. Vena cava and pulmonary vein के start में, and then pulmonary artery or aorta के start. अच्छा, when left atrium contracts, bicuspid opens, but semilunar of pulmonary vein closes. Am I right? And when left ventricle contracts, bicuspid closes and semilunar of aorta opens. Do you agree? Then, and where are we? Yes. So this one is closed or open circulatory system? Meher, आप क्या कहती?
जी sir.
This diagram shows closed or open circulatory system?
Open circulatory system.
Open, na?
Yes, sir, because it doesn't have any blood vessels and blood doesn't remain in the body.
The fluid that comes out, it will simply immerse. It will dip. I mean, body organs will dip into this. So, fluid comes out of container, out of these tubes, pumps. These are hearts in a way. Look, they pump the blood. Either blood aata hai, this will push the pump blood fluid next. So they all are pumps. So circulatory system here is open or closed?
Open, sir.
Because it comes out of the vessels. So this is single or double?
Single.
Because enters and leaves. There's one entry point and one leaving.
And one leaving point.
Okay, before we move further, I must tell you, oxygen binds to, wait, let me share the screen. So today what we'll study how oxyhemoglobin is made. I mean, in lungs, oxygen binds to hemoglobin. Yes or no? So oxygen binding to. Sorry, beta. Fan off. Sure, please. Oxygen binding to hemoglobin. Oh. Did you read my message? Anyway. So look, this is partial pressure of oxygen. And here's percentage saturation of HB. Hello, this is percentage saturation of hemoglobin. So dear students, initially oxygen binds to HB. HB is a globular protein. So oxygen binds to HB. Initial binding is harder. You understand the idea? Initial binding is what? A little tough. But once oxygen molecule binds to HB, please, let's please understand this first. HB is hemoglobin. You know, RBCs have a globular protein called hemoglobin. Have you heard of hemoglobin? Can I request you, if you can stop writing for a while, you'll get to know this easily. That basically hemoglobin binds to HB, oxygen binds to hemoglobin, and this binding brings a change in the shape of hemoglobin. So the successive binding becomes easier. This is called allosterism. Allos means different and steric means shape. So what is allosterism? Yeah, when initial binding, oxygen binds to HB and brings a change in the shape of hemoglobin. I repeat, when oxygen binds to HB, this binding brings it, initial binding is harder, but when oxygen binds to HB, HB is hemoglobin, right? Shape of dash changes.
Hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin, yeah. This change of shape is called allosterism. But what is it called? Allos is different and steric means shape. So shape of hemoglobin changes so that successive bindings are easier.
So can you repeat what is allosterism stands for? Allo means?
Allos means different and steric means shape. See, I'm writing down here the numbers. बच्चों ये percentage saturation है. If you look at graph, it's like, say for example 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50% for example. And these are partial pressure of oxygen. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8. So, you know, for example, this one is oxygen saturation curve. That's called oxygen saturation curve. So at 2 partial pressure of oxygen, what is saturation of HB? Roughly 10. But when partial pressure of oxygen is doubled from 2 to 4, so can you please tell me what is the saturation of HB? Roughly it is around
40.
You know? So, you know, rise in partial pressure of oxygen gives equal rise in percentage saturation of HB or more than that. Look, partial pressure of oxygen increased from 2 to 4. At 2, 10% HB was saturated. But when partial pressure of oxygen is doubled, it should have been 20 now, but it's not 20, it's around 40. So it means increase in partial pressure of oxygen causes greater increase or little same increase in the percentage saturation of HB.
Greater.
मरियम आप क्या कहती है? Greater, नूर बेटा, क्योंकि देखें at partial pressure 2 saturation was about 10. थोड़ा सा कर्व खराब, ये ड्रॉ मैचिंग ये मतलब ये वर्किंग सही नहीं है because I'm drawing through this tablet now. At partial pressure 2 saturation was 10. Saturation means what percentage of HB has bound to hemoglobin, oxygen. So, but when you increase the partial pressure, when you double it from 2 to 4, you increase it twofold. So, 2 times. So look, saturation of HB did not increase to 2 times, it did not go to 20, rather it went to 40. If you match this line, this and this, it's around 40, right?
So what do you mean by partial pressure box?
In the mixture of gases, the amount of one gas is expressed as
The more oxygen is, the
more is the partial pressure. You'll study, if you take chemistry, you'll study this in gas laws and detail, equilibria and gas laws. But the thing is, rise in oxygen, you can say, rise in the amount of oxygen causes same rise in percentage saturation of HB or more. So we say that increase in partial pressure of oxygen does not cause proportionate increase in percentage saturation of HB. नूर बेटा ऑक्सीजन का पार्शियल प्रेशर था 2, जैसे मरीम कहती है जहां पे ऑक्सीजन ज्यादा होगी वहां उसका पार्शियल प्रेशर ज्यादा. At lungs, partial pressure of oxygen is more, right? So increase in partial pressure of oxygen, it causes same increase in percentage saturation of hemoglobin, yeah, more increase in it. बनेगा नहीं. hemoglobin saturation means hemoglobin binding with oxygen binding to HB. So beta, initial binding is easier or harder? But initial the oxygen, after binding the oxygen, some oxygen is bound to HB, then shape of HB gets changed. So the successive binding becomes easier. This is called allosterism. Allosterism. Allos means, bacho, allo, yeah, allo means
Different.
Yeah, allos means different. You must have heard of this allotrope. Diamond and graphite are allotropes of carbon, different, right? And steric means shape. So, Miss Noor, who gets different shape? Hemoglobin. And this allosterism is good or bad? Good. Nice. You know, बच्चों, ये जो curve है ना, this curve is called sigmoid curve. What sigmoid means? S-shaped. And my question to you, if the curve is this way, like look this one, and if it is this one, oops, sorry, let me draw this again. One of the curve is this, the other one is this. Ali bhai, hurry up. And third one is this. What's it? How do you get something? So third one is इतना कैजुअल तो यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं देखते लोग. King is back. So there are three curves. Let me call it A. I would suggest if you can draw this with good B. You can even draw with one color, obviously. C. So if I ask you which of three curves, okay, this is percentage saturation of HP. So dear students, which one is more saturated with oxygen?
A.
Very good. You can see A is on the left side, huh? And sorry, not C, because at any given value, imagine if I compare this value, this X, so you can see that चलें इसको हम इस value को compare करते हैं. At this point X, तो आप देखिए ये red वाला जो है ना, it is this much saturated, but ये जो purple वाला, it is almost this much saturated, and the green one, if you extend the line up, oh my God, green one is about this much saturated. See, it's very tough to draw this. Yes. So which one is? I mean, more saturated is HB. Curve seems on the left or right. Dear friends.
Left.
Yeah, if it is more saturated, I mean curve will appear on the left. And least saturated the HB, a curve will appear
On the right.
right. So I hope you understand, Mr. Ali. This is, sorry? You don't understand. See, at any partial pressure of oxygen, let's say this is partial pressure 2. 4, 6, whatever. So if I ask you at partial pressure 2, which curve is more saturated? Which, imagine there are 3 curves. So if I draw this points up, look, this and this. Imagine here are also some values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and so on. So you can see at partial pressure 4. So A, B, and C, which one is more saturated? A, and B is less, and C is least. Yes, no? So if you're more saturated, if hemoglobin is more saturated, sigmoid curve turns left or right? Do you all agree? Ali beta? At point 4, at partial pressure of oxygen 4, which line shows more saturation of HB? A. So on the left means HB is more saturated, and curve is on the right means HB is less saturated, right? I just had to tell you this. We'll move on further. So ये just एक idea आपको मैं बता दूं. अगर मैं आपसे कहूं कि there are 3 options of A and B, बच्चों of A and B, which imagine there are 3 hemoglobin samples. So my question is of A and B, which one shows fetal HB? You know, fetal is like fetus wala. There are 2 HBs. Now, mother ka HB bhi hota hai, fetus ka HB bhi. So whose hemoglobin has more affinity for oxygen? Affinity means attraction. No, like, you know, when blood passes through placenta, fetus ka jo HB hai, that takes oxygen from mother. Yes, no? So affinity, affinity is attraction. So which hemoglobin should have more attraction for oxygen? Fetal wala or mother wala? Fetus. और वो उसकी attraction ज़्यादा, it means it gets more saturated. Because fetus ने mother से oxygen लेनी होती है. Yes. नहीं, when mother blood goes through placenta, so fetus will, मैं इसको कैमरा ऑन करता हूँ थोड़ा सा. मिस अब्बासी हमारे टीचर की बेटी है. तो मिस महर, हम ये पढ़ रहे हैं कि ब्लड पासेस थ्रू प्लेसेंटा. सो फीटस का जो हेमोग्लोबिन है, दैट हैज टू स्नैच ऑक्सीजन फ्रॉम मदर्स ब्लड, राइट? बेटा आवाज आ रही है?
जी सर.
तो मदर्स ब्लड भी ऑक्सीजन कैरी कर रहा है हेमोग्लोबिन से. ऑक्सीजन इज बाउंड टू एचबी, राइट? बेटा समझ आ रही? दैट गोज थ्रू प्लेसेंटा. तो फीटस में जो एचबी है, दैट टेक्स ऑक्सीजन फ्रॉम मदर. तो विच हेमोग्लोबिन हैज मोर अट्रैक्शन फॉर ऑक्सीजन, more ability to take the oxygen? Fetal HB, yes or no? तो अगर सेम पार्शियल प्रेशर आप दे दें, you have 2 samples of hemoglobin. एक हम fetus का hemoglobin निकाल लें और एक मदर का, and you provide them same partial pressure of oxygen, मतलब same amount of oxygen. So which one will pick up more oxygen? Excellent. तो ये फिर ग्राफ इनमें से fetal HB कौन सा? नूर आप क्या कहते हैं? A, because it is dash saturated at any partial pressure. वाह वाह वाह, well done. तो ये sigmoid curve है. अभी आपके आने से पहले यार हम पढ़ रहे थे sigmoid curve, S-shaped curve. ठीक है, sigmoid curve. तो it turns left when HB has dash affinity for oxygen. So the answer for this question, which of A and B shows fetal HB? पहले गलत करूं, FOE I think. What's the answer, beta? A. Because A has dash affinity for oxygen. Affinity means attraction. Ali bhai? Dash has more affinity for oxygen. Yes or no? A has more. अच्छा बच्चों, एक और मैं आपसे पूछूं कि इसी ग्राफ के अकॉर्डिंग, you know, water में ऑक्सीजन, ये सारे पॉसिबल क्वेश्चंस हैं. When you do topical, you'll find them there. वाटर में ऑक्सीजन ज्यादा होता है या लैंड पे, एयर में? महर अब्बासी.
Yes sir.
दूर, where is more oxygen, एयर में या वाटर में? I think air.
Water.
Air.
Air.
It's hard to breathe in water. Water में ना मतलब आप यूँ समझ लें. Let me explain you. If you take like 1 liter of air and 1 liter of water, air has about 20% oxygen by volume. If you take 1 liter of air, so 20% of this is oxygen. But if you take 1 liter of water, very less oxygen there. It's very hard to breathe in water. Yeah. Normally also, like, you know, air, if you take 1 liter of air and you can take a lot of oxygen out of it. But if you take 1 liter of water, how much oxygen you can withdraw from this? No. Water में जो oxygen होती है वो oxygen water molecule के gaps में होती है. अच्छा नहीं वो ऑक्सीजन O2 नॉट वो वाला हाँ वो बॉन्डेड है. पता है गर्म पानी में ऑक्सीजन ज्यादा होगी ठंडे में? ठंडे में माशाल्लाह. ओ लेवल केमिस्ट्री में क्वेश्चन आते थे ये कि आपने नेल्स को रस्टिंग वाला, शायद आप लोगों ने केमिस्ट्री की है ना, नेल रस्टिंग. मैं केमिस्ट्री पढ़ी हो लेवल में?
जी सर.
गुड. तो मैं एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ, शायद आप रिलेट कर सकें. नेल्स का रस्टिंग के एक्सपेरिमेंट में था कि अगर आप वाटर हीट करो, हीट करने से वाटर की मॉलिक्यूल्स गैप बढ़ जाता है और ऑक्सीजन रन अवे हो जाता है. हीट करो पानी को, नहीं, बट व्हेन यू आर हीटिंग वाटर, फॉर एग्जांपल पानी को हीट कर रहे हो ना, तो वो ऑक्सीजन रन अवे. उसे फिर ठंडा करो, ऊपर ऑयल की लेयर लगा दो ताकि ऑक्सीजन ना आ सके. उसमें नेल्स पड़ी उनको रस्ट नहीं लगता, क्योंकि फॉर रस्टिंग वाटर एंड ऑक्सीजन आर अ मस्ट. बट चले आप एज अ फैक्ट याद कर लें कि वाटर में डेंसिटी ऑफ ऑक्सीजन एंड वाटर इज लेस. I mean, if you take same volume of air and water, you'll have more oxygen and air. Did you get my point? Yes or no? तो sigmoid curve आपको एक और information भी देता है. I just want your suggestion that sometimes they ask you this. If I ask you which of these A and B, for example, is it's the same animal. Now the previous example is gone, right? Now this is me. My 3 conditions A, B, C. Miss Noor, these are sigmoid curves of my own HB. I mean, one पहले था ना fetal और mother, 2 different HBs हैं. वैसे as a fact मैं आपको बताऊँ fetal HB change हो जाता है बड़े हो गए. Fetus की bones भी change होती हैं बहुत सारे. अच्छा, so the thing is, if this is me and you have to tell me out of 3 conditions which graph shows when I am number 1, I am doing physical activity. I'm into physical activity. C. Because in physical activity, you need oxygen. Hemoglobin gives oxygen to the muscles. Right? So, नहीं, affinity का तो एक टॉपिक है ना. अब ये है कि amount of oxygen holding. This sigmoid curve tests so many things. ये अब जब questions करोगे ना, आपके AS bio में सबसे ज्यादा demanding question यही sigmoid curve पे. इसको हम ऐसे करते हैं, थ्रो हम चलाते हैं कि this is my hemoglobin. This 3 graphs show conditions of a person's hemoglobin at different times. So you need to choose which one shows when he is doing physical activity. जब आप physical activity करते हैं, यही हमारा अगला टॉपिक भी है. When you do physical activity, don't you think muscles need oxygen? चलिए, I change the condition. Which of A and B shows hemoglobin at lungs? Ignore the numbers here. A, because it is more saturated. And this is hemoglobin at tissues, muscles, which are into work. और तो इससे हमें एफिनिटी का भी पता चलता है किसकी एफिनिटी ज्यादा है. ये भी पता चलता है कि ये हेमोग्लोबिन ये बंदा क्या कर रहा है. अब C shows when you are into physical work because your muscles need oxygen. बेटा, hemoglobin and the muscles will be losing oxygen or will be gaining oxygen? आप सही कह रहे हैं कि जब हम फिजिकल एक्टिविटी करते हैं more oxygen is being picked up as well, right? But let's say this is the hemoglobin at muscles, right? So when I'm at rest, and hemoglobin in my muscles is shown by which graph? A. And when I'm doing physical activity, it's B. When I do heavy physical activity, it's C. So more work you do, sigmoid curve turns dash, right or left? Right. This is called Bohr's shift. That sigmoid curve turns, sigmoid curve turns right. Yes, sigmoid curve turns right when there is dash partial pressure of oxygen. I चलो, yes. नहीं समझ आ रही? मेहर बेटा समझ आ रही है नहीं आ रही?
Yes.
Mr. Abbasi, आप मुझे बताएं कि sigmoid curve turns dash when there is low partial pressure of oxygen.
Sigmoid curve turns right.
Right. So this is called Bohr's shift. Let's understand this. जी ये खुद ही याद रहेगा. ये क्वेश्चन टॉपिकल करेंगे ना इंशाल्लाह. आई एम रशिंग टू फिनिश अप दिस टॉपिक एक्चुअली. ये वाला और गैसेस एक्सचेंज ये हमारा हो जाए फिर 2 टॉपिक रह जाएंगे ना तो इजी हो जाएगा. इम्यूनिटी डिजीज. तो बेटा ये बताइए कि मैं आपको थोड़ा सा एक हिंट बता दूं. HB with oxygen is called what? Oxyhemoglobin. Have you heard this word? Oxyhemoglobin is when HB binds to oxygen. So now let me draw here body. See, this is capillary. Are you following what I'm drawing? Distance. This is RBC. मैं आपको पिक्चर भेज देता हूँ. डोंट वरी. मिस क्या नाम है मरियम. ये बेटा ये क्या है? ये वाइट वाली कैपिलरी है और ये क्या है? RBC. Let me draw this again. And this is so big is red blood cells. Oh my God. And these are my body cells. Capillaries are so small that they can go in between the body cells, you know. They can penetrate the gaps of body cells.
Cells?
Yes, they do.
Gaps क्या?
Cells के बीच में जो gaps होते हैं ना, capillaries penetrate into them. So ये क्या है बेटा? These purple are my body cells. Right? So imagine I am doing some physical work and from my body cells, which gas goes out? CO2. Very good. ये अच्छा है कि आप लिख रही हैं अभी. CO2 from cells will go into dash. Very good. Plasma, blood, है ना? CO2 from cells goes to मरियम एक सेकंड प्लीज आप एक सेकंड लिखना होगा. मैं चाह रहा हूँ आपको सीधा हम मिलकर समझते हैं. CO2 from body cells goes to what? Plasma. From there, the CO2 will go into RBC.
Sir,
This is RBC. This guy is
is this a
RBC.
capillary? Is this a artery or a vein?
No, this is capillary.
Capillary.
Capillary is the one which can penetrate in between the cells. और अली आप कह रहे हैं CO2 कहाँ से है? Because cells are respiring. We are doing this. Both shift occurs at respiring tissues. And when there is respiration, there is CO2 produced. Yes, no? No, समझिए. So CO2 from cells goes to plasma. From plasma, CO2 goes to what? RBC. And inside RBC, CO2 combines with water and makes what we say H2CO3. And then H2CO3, this reaction is catalyzed by an enzyme called carbonic anhydrase. And then H2CO3 splits into 2 things. H plus and HCO3 negative ion. HCO3 negative ion then comes out in the plasma. I'll repeat this and you'll remember this also. This is called hydrogen carbonate ion. 85% of CO2 is transported in this way from tissues to lungs. And where does H positive go? H positive goes to oxyhemoglobin. You know, hemoglobin, a hemoglobin molecule can pick up 4 oxygens. And beta, what is it? Oxyhemoglobin.
So H plus का क्या?
Yeah, H plus will go and bind to what? Hemoglobin. देखें ये H plus सीधा जाके HB से bind. एंड एलोस्टेरिज्म होगा, इसकी शेप में चेंज होगा, किसकी शेप में, Hb, and that allosterism will help hemoglobin throw weights oxygen, and that oxygen will be going to body cells. Can you help me recall all the story?
सही नाम याद कर ले।
ओहो, आप समझ जाए, नाम खुद ही याद जाएगा। अब आप मुझे बताएं, एट respiring tissues या मसल्स।
CO2
यस, अब बच्चों आपने मुझे जल्दी से कंप्लीट करना, ठीक है। ये मैं रिकॉर्ड करूं, आप इसको वीडियो को प्ले करके ना घर पे पॉज करके नोट्स लिख भी सकते हैं। तो जी आई विल, ये बेटा कल वाली भी और ये भी मैं आज भेज देता हूँ। आप मुझे बताइए पहला नंबर पे क्या होगा, CO2 goes from dash to dash, very good, from cells to plasma, and combines with H2O forming, mashallah, H2CO3. Thanks to what? Thanks to carbonic, the enzyme which helps is carbonic anhydrase. Then what happens? H2CO3 splits into, जी बच्चों, H plus and क्या नाम है, नूर एंड मरीम क्यों खामोश, समझ आ रही है? H2CO3 splits into नूर, H2CO3, H plus and HCO3 negative, और HCO3 negative comes out to dash, नहीं, to plasma, ये बाहर आ गया ना प्लाज्मा में, ठीक है। 85% of dash is carried, ना ये बेटा देखो, CO2 यहाँ से उधर गई थी, उसने बनाया, उससे टूट के ये बना, तो CO2, 85% of CO2 is carried as HCO3 from dash to dash, Mariam, from respiring tissues, from tissues जो respire कर रही, to lungs, CO2 ने lungs तक जाना है ना, समझ आ रही बात, ताकि to be exhaled out। देखें, ऑक्सीजन लंग्स से बॉडी में आती है और CO2 वहां से, when you're running, the muscles जो involved in physical, वहां से CO2 जाती है लंग्स में, कैसे जाती है? 85% as HCO3। How does the rest of 15% CO2 go? ये हम बाद में पढ़ेंगे। अब बेटा H plus क्या करता है? H plus binds to dash, ये नजर आ रहा है? H plus binds to मरियम, H plus binds to HB, राइट। और इस बाइंडिंग में क्या होता है? HB की शेप
चेंज होती है,
causing, very good, नूर, एलोस्टेरिज्म। जी महर क्या कह रही हैं आप?
तो यही कह रही थी,
causing एलोस्टेरिज्म, और ये जो चेंज एलोस्टेरिज्म वाली क्या है? चेंज इन शेप ऑफ HB, which helps release dash from dash, O2 from HB. Let me call this point as 1, this is 2. देखिए, एक एलोस्टेरिज्म हमें पता लंग्स में होता है, जब HB की शेप चेंज होती है और नेक्स्ट बाइंडिंग बिकम्स इजियर, याद है आपको? यहाँ नहीं, यहाँ पे दूसरा एलोस्टेरिज्म है, यहाँ पे जो H पॉजिटिव बाइंड करेगा, चेंज इन शेप होगा HB का, तो HB विल थ्रो अवे ऑक्सीजन, ताकि सेल्स को ऑक्सीजन चाहिए। ये सारा कुछ हो रहा है टिश्यूज में बेटा, मतलब इट कैन नो मोर होल्ड दैट ना, ये टिश्यूज में हो रहा है जहां पे ऑक्सीजन चाहिए। एट रेस्पायरिंग टिश्यूज ऑक्सीजन नीड्स टू बी डिलीवर्ड, यस और नो? तो उसका प्रोसीजर हम पढ़ रहे हैं कि हु मेक्स हेमोग्लोबिन थ्रो अवे ऑक्सीजन। समझ आ रही है? हु मेक्स एचबी थ्रो अवे ऑक्सीजन? H प्लस। तो ये जो H प्लस अभी तो 1 मिनट से भी कम रह गया, तो पॉइंट नंबर 4 में कहा लिखूं? H प्लस जब HB से बाइंड करेगा ना, इट्स कॉल्ड हीमोग्लोबिनिक एसिड। बटो H प्लस जब HB से बाइंड करेगा, इट्स कॉल्ड हीमोग्लोबिनिक एसिड, HHB, हीमोग्लोबिनिक। कैन यू जॉइन मी अगेन बच्चों? कैन यू जॉइन मी अगेन फॉर continuation? We have few minutes
Yes, sir.
by same link.